Mine. There he is. Aviator Dan is here. Hold on. Hang on a minute, guys. Hello?
Oh, Jesus.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble now. Oh, no.
Kidding about that.
Let me bring us into a different channel. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can do this. Hang on.
Fair warning. Like I said, I'm in a long layover at the hotel.
Yeah.
I figured I need to go get some food before this. And, bartender talked me into having a couple drinks as well. So,
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I couldn't ask for it to be better. Perfect. Oh, perfect. Your buddy says, hi, Dan, Mr. Raunchy Fart.
Oh, that sexy bastard.
Yep. All right, hold on one second. Let me bring you down here. Hang on. Okay. All right. You have a chance to look over some of the. Did you see there's a channel in here with questions in it?
Oh, hell, man, you're expecting me to read? Jesus.
No, you don't have to read anything. No, you just hang out and
No,
lay
I
there.
didn't see that. I'll try to find it right now though.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be skimming through it. Some of those I wouldn't even say, but you know.
Hey, I'm an open book, man. No question too dumb or too shameful for me. I'll answer them all.
Got it. And I did tell everyone no. Even if they ask a question that's related to security, you don't have to answer anything like that. Of course, that's inappropriate to ask anything that would jeopardize anybody in any situation, of course. So but first, how are you doing? What'd you have to drink today?
I'm pretty much a straight whiskey guy, buddy. Went down there and he talked me into it, and I said, "All right, give me a double Jack neat."
Nice.
And then he finished threw that back real quick, and he's like, "Well, it's going to be a few more minutes on your burger. You want another?" I said, "Who the hell am I to say no?"
Okay. Hey, why not? Why not? That's good. And so you're feeling pretty loose and good then, huh?
Oh, I'm feeling great.
Excellent. All right, let me save your ears from a whole bunch of noises. All right, there we go. So, probably, I mean, like one of the first questions I'm looking in here and seeing, and first, just out of curiosity, like what model of plane are you flying the most right now?
So currently I'm on the Boeing 737 NG. Fly the Max as well, the 800s. But I'm got my bid in right now to switch to the Airbus 320, 19, 21. But I'm not fully sold on that yet. I haven't fully decided. But and before that, the regional airline I came from flew the Bombardier's CRJ2, 7, and 900s.
Wow. Okay, so then big planes. And does it, since you're currently flying those Boeings, is it like if you know how to fly one, you kind of know how to fly all of them?
That's what I've heard. The 787 is a completely different game.
Yeah.
The 75, 76, I've jump seated a bunch on them. I was gonna switch to it, but pandemic happened and they got rid of them sooner. They're pretty similar. The overhead. That's why Boeing's the most popular airliner in the world. All the panels and pretty much all their planes are the exact same.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Like I don't know how accurate the sim is to these planes, but in the simulators, it seems like they're all pretty much easy to understand from one to the next. Everything is similarly placed.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's all pretty well laid out, and it's kind of dummy proof. Main reason being, I hate to say this, but English is the aviation language across the world. No matter where you fly, English is what's supposed to be spoken, and planes, that goes for the planes as well.
Right.
So they try to keep everything as simple as possible. They'll just use ABC systems, 1, 2, 3. So it's not that bad learning.
That makes a lot of sense. Using some very generic letters and numbers to describe certain areas and buttons, it makes a lot of sense, and abbreviations also. Yeah, because that would be pretty much universal. Yeah, I guess I get that. All right.
That, and they know we're not that bright, so they need to make it as easy as they can.
I would assume that most pilots are especially of a bigger plane that has a lot of fancy equipment on it. That most of you guys are of a a little bit technical in nature, and somewhat obviously interested in these types of things.
No, it's fascinating. It's fascinating as hell. I grew up around machinery.
Mm-hmm.
My dad owned a plumbing company. A small company. Grew up on a farm, so I've been on tractors, backhoes, and bobcats, everything my whole life. And I knew I didn't want to do plumbing the rest of my life. I did that 19 years with him,
Wow.
and so the flying part came pretty natural to me. It wasn't that bad learning. It's the book stuff I had to focus on, where they actually expect me to know something. They're
Uh
like, "Ah, God, this guy's a dumbass. All right, we need to spend a little more time here."
huh. Well, that makes sense. Do pilots so do pilots like joke around with each other about things like that? Like I know like on a car, like the oil light is like considered an idiot light. If you wait for that to come on, you're an idiot. Like if you don't check your own oil every once in a while. Is that similar with pilots? Like, oh yeah, he just relies on all the avionics. If something went wrong, haha, this guy wouldn't know what to do or anything like that.
Well, with things like that, I mean, there's just so they have so many sensors on these planes. They know exactly what we're doing at all times. But
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
also, so let's say you're bringing up oil. Let's say we're usually about an hour outside of a hub airport, Dallas, Charlotte, something like that.
Right.
When we send in the message to get our gate assignment, it'll say, all right, hey, how's your oil looking? Are you below 12 quarts on each engine? If so, we need to get this serviced while it's sitting here at a hub station instead of waiting for it to go out.
Of
But
course.
they're pretty quick on it. We're not allowed to work on anything on the plane. Like even if there's just a screw, like a part of the dash that's hanging off,
Right.
we can't touch it. I mean, can
Wow.
we touch it? I'm not saying. I'm just saying,
Right.
but
Right.
not technically supposed to.
Well, isn't that's something that's supposed to be taken note of, and then somebody's going to want to figure out why it's loose, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that happens gets put in the book. Now, if it's something stupid, like I don't know, let's say overhead bins not latching right, and we have to
Right.
call them out to mess with it. Maintenance guys will ask us, "Hey, did you throw it in the book?" And we're like, "No. Do you want us to?" And he's like, "No, the hell with that, because it's nothing major."
Right. Sure. That's yeah. That's probably not going to affect anything. I understand that. Well, that's good. It's good to know, and I mean, and it's good to know that everything is like very well, documented all the time, and that that goes a long way as that being like the safest way to travel, which is even more fascinating because it's such a like a could be like a very shaky situation, but it still is the safest way to go. I love it. I love that.
Oh, it really is. I mean, in this country, I'm not going to say about other countries because their maintenance isn't up to par as it is in the states.
Correct.
But it really is the safest way you can go. They, like I said, they keep such a close look on everything because, well, lawsuits are expensive.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Someone asks if a passenger brings a pilot coffee, will you drink it, or are there rules against that, or is that a preference?
I mean, there's no rules against that. On the safe side, no,
Right. Yeah, that would be kind
because
of strange, right?
yeah, yes,
That
hell,
would be
story about
strange.
that.
Oh yeah?
We had a This was from a flight attendant. So there was a brand new flight attendant at my regional airline. Um, Part of the union I was on had to deal with things like this. I was kind of a counselor. That's even scarier.
Oh,
But so this brand new flight attendant, the pilots called in. They were like, "Hey, do you care to make us some coffee? We're getting close to the airport. We're getting tired. We need to wake up a little bit." And she said, "Sure." So she brews them up some coffee, and she hands it to them through the door, and they're like, "God dang, this is delicious."
huh.
And they call back, it's like, "Hey, what you put in this?" It's like, "Oh, I had some special creamer back here at Bailey's."
Okay. Bailey.
Yeah. And they're like, "What'd you just say?"
Well, it
So
doesn't
yeah,
have.
this Bailey's creamer in here, and
Yeah.
you're shitting us, right? And no, this flight attendant put Bailey's in their coffee, thinking it was creamer. Um,
Oh. Oh, like
yeah,
actually they'd actually put the alcohol in, not like Bailey's creamer, because I know they make creamer too.
Oh no, this was straight. The Bailey's just alcohol.
Oh shit. Oh
Yeah,
no. Oh, you got to stop drinking that right away. No wonder this
yeah,
coffee is really good. Whoops.
yeah. You ain't kidding. So they did the correct. I mean, it wasn't their fault at all,
Of
but
course.
they got to the airport. They called off themselves, told the company exactly what happened. But no, if a passenger gives us coffee or something, I'm not drinking it.
Yeah, right. That's strange. I mean, I'm sure that there's occasionally those frequent flyers that are on a lot, and then that would be even weirder because that's like an obsession. They're thinking too much about
Oh yeah,
it. you know.
we did have a, we did have. I got to go to the other side of that. We had it wasn't an emergency, but we had a deal where we had to divert me and my first officer, and we landed and had to get a new plane. Well, one of the women went out and bought us some chocolates and stuff for getting like doing our job.
Uh,
Now we did tear those up. I'm like, all right, this is packaged and sealed. We're good.
yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, if it, that absolutely. But I mean, like a cup of coffee, you could put something weird inside of it. A bunch of chocolates. I've always said people don't really mess with chocolates, especially at Halloween. Who's putting and who's giving away their drugs and alcohol to kids for free? No one's doing that.
Man, never thought about that. That's a damn good point. The hell with
Right.
them bastards.
Right. It's too expensive. Have you ever seen a UFO? That's a weird one.
Um,
That's a weird one.
I
If that
can't.
falls under like some security thing, then just say it and we'll move on. But yeah, that's someone asked that. I thought it was interesting.
No, I can't say it with flying because I mean, now I have heard guys on the radio where they're calling out something that they don't know what it is,
Uh huh.
and they're like, "It's changing colors. It's off at our 2 o'clock, a little bit above us." And I'm looking. I figure out what they're looking at. I'm like, "Dude, that's freaking Mars or Venus." It's just there's
Ah,
times of the year where it's so bright up there
sure.
that they think it's another plane, but actually flying, no, I haven't really seen anything. But while we were up in the cabin one time at the up in the Smoky Mountains with my wife and my bud and his girl,
Mm-hmm.
we were chilling out in the hot tub and we were looking up and we did see this light that was going in random directions.
In the sky.
Um, yeah.
Oh, that's always
Now,
strange.
oh yeah, like it was one of the things like it'd be in one place, then follow that same flight path, but then it would change completely different flight paths, and did that several times. And I'm like, this might be the whiskey, but that looks a little strange.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a lot of G's for someone if it made a lot of really sharp movements, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we don't have inertial dampeners. We're not there yet. This isn't sci-fi. Oh, that'd be great though. I can't wait for the future though. Future does look
that
kind of bright.
that and we're airline pilots. We're not the healthiest ones, so we can't handle that type of stress.
I really feel like my opinion of airline pilots is very 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 calm and everything under control all the time and even like in a crazy severe situation always very calm and controlled, and I think that's the image that the commercial airlines want people to have, and that's why pilots are always dressed up like that and looking very sharp and nice all the time and acting extremely professional when in uniform. It really gives a very comforting feeling. I like
Oh
that.
yeah, we try to be as professional as we can be because we want to make people feel safe. But I'm not the person to talk to if you're looking for safe to feel nice and comfortable. I like to freak people out a little bit.
Yeah, so and it's okay to have fun every once in a while. Absolutely. It absolutely is okay to have fun. Here's interesting. So I want to try to get some people have a lot of questions, but like somebody puts
Penis.
in here the most emergent situation, I guess. An oh shit moment. Have you had one of those?
Yeah, I've had some. It ranges from when I was doing general aviation to I haven't had really much happen in the airlines. The worst thing I probably had happen was when I was instructing. One of the guys that I did flight reviews for, he had his own plane and they just put a new engine in it, and they said they were having a little bit of issue with one of the cylinders getting pretty high in temperature. So
Mm-hmm.
they wanted me to take it up and try to run it out a little bit, see what happens. And I'm like, yeah, well, this feels great. So
Yeah.
I told the tower, I'm like, hey guys, I don't want to leave the pattern at the field. I just want to, let's say, climb up 5,000 to 6,000 feet, and I just want to stay right here.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that's fine. So I climb up. I notice the ceiling. I had temperature climbing and climbing, and finally it's getting to the point. where I'm uncomfortable with it. So
Mm-hmm.
I start to head back down, and about that time, the engine blows, and so have to declare an emergency. Just glide back down to the field and put it down.
Right.
Owner
Wow.
wasn't too happy, but I'm like, hey, blame your engine.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's for sure. Yeah, that's. I mean, the owner wasn't happy. First off, you survived. Second, smart move, right? Staying by the airport in case you needed to literally just glide back down.
oh yeah, that
Yeah.
so it was a Piper. Those things aren't known for their glide ratios.
Oh.
Or it's a brick in the sky.
Oh.
The other one had a nose gear on a Cessna 310 that didn't want to come down. And the only thing I've had happen at the airlines was that one where I told you about. We had to divert to Charlotte. It was just a flat failure.
Uh huh.
We were supposed to go to Columbia to DC, and the flaps failed at 1 degree. So instead of going all the way to DC, our maintenance was in Charlotte. So I said, the hell with it. We're just going to Charlotte. Uh, it was just a fast as hell landing. There was no big deal about it. The flight attendant was freaked out. I told her we're not going to brace or anything because nothing's going to happen.
Right.
And about 500 feet, we start hearing her yelling brace commands.
Oh boy, making everyone
And
freak out.
oh yeah, yeah. So I told the passengers, I'm like, there's nothing to worry about. It's going to be fine. Might just be a little faster.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. We get on the ground, everyone's cheering. I get back on the announcements, like I said, what the hell are y'all clapping for? I said there was no big deal.
That's great. That's great. Probably a lot of laughter after that, right? I mean, wow. I mean, and coming in fast. I mean, at that point, I think it's a comfort issue, right?
What's that? The flap?
Yeah. How fast you want
Yeah.
to land. I mean, the plane could, usually handle more than you get, normally things happen to it, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, we train for that. Flapless landings are pretty big in the simulators. We do them pretty often.
Uh-huh.
So it wasn't that big of a deal. Um, it's mostly the main thing with the flat failures. You just can't exceed your tire speeds, which that plane, I think it was 182 knots, and I want to say we came in at about 170.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
tires will just blow out when they go that fast.
yeah. So like I said, it wasn't horrible, but there was no big deal to it.
All right. So you said before that you were a plumber for 19 years, and I'm gonna say that's a quite different job going from plumber to airline pilot. What made you want to be a pilot? I mean, everyone's saying that everybody wants to be a pilot. That's not true. Not everybody wants to be a pilot. You could be afraid of heights. I mean, you sitting right at the front of the plane is scary as hell.
Now, I got bad news for you, man. I got a fear of heights.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I kind of do too. I grew up on a sixth floor. And so when I was on the balcony, I would always stay back. But looking out the window of a plane, like I did it last week, it's, when there's like a bed of clouds, it is something that we're not supposed to see. It's so beautiful. And, what makes you want to be a pilot? Is it something like that? Is it the view?
Well, so you brought up the plumbing thing. I mean, really, still doing the same thing, just dealing with people shit in a different way. Um, I, like I said, I started doing plumbing work with my dad when I was about 10 years old, up until he passed when I was 29. So that was, oh God, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago now. But
Okay. Oh,
I
yeah.
knew I didn't want to do that my entire life. He didn't want me to do it because, I mean, that's why he busted his ass. So me and my sister wouldn't have to work our asses off to make a living. So
That's great.
the only thing I could think that I could do that would make a dollar would be flying. I had a buddy that went down to a flight school in Sanford, Orlando. Uh, he went down there, and I never really thought about it. And he started talking to me about it, and I'm like, well, hell, I feel like I could do that. So went down there, got some information on the school, signed right up, and went after it. But I mean, I always had a love of watching planes. I never knew this, but my mom's father, he was a pilot in World War II.
Oh.
I never met him. He died a year before I was born, but no one ever told me he was a pilot, nothing like that. And so when I told her I wanted to go to flight school, it really freaked her out. But
wow.
it was the one thing I thought I could do pretty well that would make a decent dollar for me and my family.
Yeah, and I bet it does. I mean, what are you You happy flying for commercial, or do you prefer private? I feel like commercial might be safer, right?
It depends. There are some shady plane owners out there.
Yeah.
Before I got into the airlines, I had a guy want me to fly his old Cessna 335, which was a 340, just unpressurized. And that guy was real shady with his maintenance and everything, so I refused to fly for him. But
Smart.
it just depends. You gotta cover your ass,
Oh yeah.
because when it comes down to the line, the FAA, they're coming after you. They're going to come after me and my pilot rating, even if it's the plane owner,
Right.
because all they have to say is, "Well, he didn't make you start the engine and go take off. You made that decision."
Right.
So
Yeah. You got to take a look at stuff and inspect it yourself.
yeah. Now, I mean, there's corporate. One of my buds, he left where I'm at now to go fly corporate, and he absolutely loves it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's top notch maintenance. He doesn't have to commute for work. He's home most of the month, but the he doesn't make as much. But you just got to kind of outweigh the benefits and the cons to see what you really want, what makes you happy.
That's nice. I mean, that's good. And so then the commercial airliners, there's no question in the U.S. that they're heavily maintained and looked over very well.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
because the airlines don't want to have, because if they let maintenance go, it's just like your car. If you don't take care of something, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
These planes are expensive as hell.
Yeah.
They don't want to lose them.
Oh God, I'm sure they don't want to lose the plane. I mean, there's millions of reasons why. There's so many reasons. But yeah, that's okay. Is are the airplanes pretty clean right now? Like, is there any kind of steam cleaning or things that are going on? Because I was told that basically there's hardly any kind of COVID transmission that happens on a plane just because it's so safe. Everyone's wearing masks. There's HEPA filters throwing the air around. Are there new cleaning procedures that are happening now?
Not The cleaning procedures were a lot more strict when the everything was first happening.
Uh-huh.
Now, the only part they would really steam would be the flight deck, because we don't wear masks or anything up there,
Right.
because of if we have to slap on the oxygen mask real quick while we're up at altitude, it's a
Sure.
hindrance. And when you're up at real high altitudes, like 41,000 feet, if you don't get your mask on in 3 to 5 seconds, you could be passing out.
Yeah, so
So
that's a big deal. That counts every second.
yeah,
Yeah.
but now they come in after every single flight and they wipe down all the seats and everything, clean the floors, bathrooms. They pretty much do it all.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's also good to know. I mean, it's not just a myth, that there is a lot of good stuff that's going on the plane to keep everything clean. There there are some weird questions here, but then there are others. There's some other good questions, like and I think this is like a preference question. I don't know. Is how far out from an airport do you drop your landing gear? Is it a distance or a height thing?
So it's kind of both. So we'll go gear down. So when you're looking at an approach plate, we have there's one fix on there. It's called the final approach fix.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put that on our fix page. Put a 2 mile ring on it. Now we're already getting configured with the flaps before this point, but once we hit that 2 mile ring, that's like our call, or not a call out, but that's our lets us know that, hey, you're getting close. Let's get fully configured, because
Right.
we have to be fully configured by 1,000 feet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense then. Okay. So that could vary then, but mostly that definitely by 1,000 feet and then within 2 miles sounds like is what we're hearing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the distance, the final approach fix is usually 5, 6 miles out.
Yeah.
Smaller planes, yeah, you don't have to drop them. And I mean, it's just going to cause more drag on you. And so if you're in like a small single engine plane, you don't want all that extra drag, because if you lose an engine,
Yeah.
now you're screwing yourself. So on a
Yeah.
small single engine plane or just a prop plane, you might not drop the gear till like 500 feet or something like that.
Okay. So that also oh yeah, that definitely makes a difference on the type of plane you're flying.
Yeah, speed's
Okay.
a big determining factor in that.
Sure. Okay. Do you have a favorite airport?
Um, favorite airport for flying purposes, or just that like looks gorgeous?
Well, like for like your favorite approach. Like there's got to be one where you're like, oh, this one is cake. I do this one all the time. I like this approach. Or there's one where you just feel like I don't like landing at this airport for whatever reason.
No,
Thank
I
you for that
mean,
raid.
there's not really airports that I don't like. Um, favorite approaches going into airports though. My base is DC. The
Mm.
river visual to 1-9 is always fun to fly. Hell, I could probably even
My
send you a
favorite
video
type of
of
magic.
that. May or may not have done a
Lesbomancy.
time lapse capture flying into there,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a real fun approach. There's one airport I don't fly into anymore. It was Portland, Maine. I wanted to say they called it the Harbor Visual. Don't quote me on that, but
Okay.
I like this. I like the approaches where it's a lot of turns. You got to really focus on where you're at. The things coming in straight and not doing anything. That's boring.
So 19 is the one that comes in through all the restricted space. So you're basically following that windy river.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That one also, yeah, in the flight sim, that one's a challenging landing and also quite fun because of that. It's satisfying when you touch down there and you're like, yep, that last second you line everything right up and boom.
Oh yeah, we don't. I want to say it's about 200 feet that we're not even lined up with the runway till then.
Yep, yeah. Wow. You feel I don't know. Have you played with the simulator that's like the ones that we use on the streams, or like the Microsoft Flight Sim, or P3D or X Plane, or have you used any of those?
Yeah, I've got Microsoft Flight Sim. I just sent you that video, by the way, on your Instagram. I don't know if you want to pull it up or anything, but it might just be cool for you to see.
Okay.
But I've played Microsoft Flight Sim X. I've got the new Microsoft Flight Sim. I messed around with it a little bit. I have X Plane 11. Um, some of the guys on Twitch that Raunchy knows, Mr. Brandman, he got me on X Plane because the 737 on that game that you can purchase, it's almost 100% accurate.
Really, that was going
It's
to be my next question. Yeah, how? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Now, Raunchy, I've watched him try to do some stuff on the 737 on Microsoft Flight Sim.
Uh-huh.
It's not accurate at all.
No. And what
No,
does that mean by it's not accurate? Like buttons or just the way the plane is acting?
yeah, switch positions. Like it'll be telling him to turn on the electronics, and I'm telling him where they're at. But then he'll say, "Well, this over here is highlighted. That I need to do this," and I'm like, "Well, hell, that's the hydraulics. That has nothing to do with the electronics. Just things like that."
Okay.
Then he talked about coming in on approach, and he was at idle power, full flaps, gear down, and plane was still doing like 180, 90 knots and couldn't get it to slow down. I think he even said he had spoilers out too. So the flying characteristics of it just didn't seem
Hmm.
accurate at all. But
Yeah, I'm
if
with
Microsoft put something out, I'd like to hope it would be better. He said this was a third party deal.
Yeah, yeah, and there's some other planes coming out that they claim are going to be extremely accurate, which that's what I kind of looking for to try to get. But yeah, I mean, with full flaps and spoilers and engines at idle, I mean, you have to slow down. I think it's going to slow down, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, when you get we almost in the 7-3, we almost never land at full flaps just because of how much drag it causes.
Mm,
It's not needed at most places. So yeah, it should have been dropping like crazy.
got it. Do you ever worry about turbulence, or is that just like not a problem at all? Like no problem, never worried
Yeah,
about
pisses me the hell off. It wakes me up.
it.
Nah, I mean, people freak out about it, but I try to tell them it's like, guys, the worse the weather is, the worse the turbulence is, the more fun we're having. Because when it's real calm and everything, it's boring. But now when we're up cruising, that was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday it was pretty bumpy everywhere. It's hard trying to find smooth rides. It pisses the flight attendants off when it's bumpy, and
All
I
right.
don't want to hear them griping. So we try
Yeah.
to find the smoothest air, but there's times where there's just nothing you can do about it. So, but now
Got
I've
it.
only encountered I've never encountered severe turbulence.
Okay.
Um, I've encountered pretty moderate. There's guys that call out. I had a captain here. He wanted me to call it severe turbulence, and I refused to because it wasn't. Um, they don't know what the definitions of the turbulence are.
Okay.
So what they're referring to is just like what it feels like. But when you look at the definition, severe turbulence, you're not able to maintain control of the aircraft pretty much at all. And when you call severe turbulence, you just grounded your plane because now it's got to get a full inspection done to it.
Yeah.
But usually 90% of the people that say they encounter the worst turbulence they've ever encountered, it's probably light, moderate turbulence.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. All right. And I mean, the planes are definitely supposed to handle that very well. I mean, it does. It shakes you left and right, up and down. You feel like it's you're in a roller coaster. All of a sudden, whoop! You just kind of drop. You
Oh, it's
know.
an exciting feeling. And
Yeah.
the bigger the plane is, too, the less turbulence it's going to feel.
Right.
Because we'll look at it like a football way. If you had to move a 350-pound lineman versus a 100-pound cheerleader, which one's going to be easier to move?
Right. Oh, the cheerleader. Yeah. No, I get. Yeah, them being real heavy. I mean, it's harder for the wind to throw it around too. It's heavy.
Yes. So we'll hear like a Cessna that might cause moderate, severe turbulence, and we're like, yeah, we're not even going to pay attention to that. That's going to be pretty much light chop for us. But if we hear like a 777 or UPS, FedEx calling severe turbulence, yeah, we're probably going to avoid that area.
Yeah. Oh, one guy says here in the chat that he was on a flight with moderate turbulence. One passenger was roof slammed while walking in the aisle. I mean, but that probably doesn't mean it was too much turbulence for the plane to handle. It was just that happened to, make a move at that point. Well, it's an unfortunate chain of events, I think, that happened.
Oh yeah, that's I mean, that stuff it hadn't happened to me, but it does happen. We get the reports all the time. We have thousands of flights a day.
Sure.
And you're going to have occurrences where you don't even know it's coming. It's clear. It could be clear air turbulence. It could be wake turbulence, but it does happen. And that's the bad thing is the worst stories are the ones that stand out, and that's the ones that scares people about flying. But 99.9% of the flights never encounter anything real bad.
Which is good. Which leads us right into the next thing. And this is like a two-part question. One quick answer and one might be a little more like, I mean, we see it in the news a lot, people getting out of control on planes, getting taped to seats and whatnot. Is that something that's happening more? And since this is like bad things like that, how often do you catch people trying to get it on the planes? It's a two-part question.
I mean, every time I'm on the flight, I'm out there trying to get it on myself.
Oh, yeah.
But now
Yes, you are a member of the Mile High Club. Okay. All right.
Passengers had they've gotten worse. One reason being is I hate to say this, but the ticket prices have gone down. So more people can afford to fly, and it's people that don't fly often, so they don't know how it's supposed to go.
Right. There's a whole etiquette to flying.
Oh yeah. When things don't go their way, they just get pissy. And when I was at my regional airline, I used to try to fight some of these people because, why the hell not? Right. I was friends with the chief pilot and he had my back. But here, like, no, this is more of a long-term gig. So if something happens, call the authorities. We do what we got to do. But,
right. I mean, you're up in the air. I mean, if you got something's got to happen. So, someone's got to be put in their chair. They got to be sitting down. So you got to do it.
There's different levels of passenger disturbances,
right?
And we take them all very seriously because you never know when it's going to escalate. But the FAA's, they need to start cracking down on it because they're not putting fines out there or arresting people like that. You know what I mean? So people think they can get away with it. That's the problem.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, you're flying all the time, but I've never really encountered anything on a plane other than pleasant people all around me, which is probably strange to hear. I don't know. And I mean, I've flown a lot. I've never really seen anyone have to be escorted off a plane or get loud with a flight attendant or anything. It's always just very, I don't know. It's just always been very pleasant. And yeah, there's etiquette. You have to be okay with people being like right on top of you all the time if you're fly on a plane. I mean,
oh yeah,
you got to be
you
all
want
right
to
with
know
that.
everything that's going on. Now, hell, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah,
It'll come back.
that's
But
all right.
yeah, you want to know what's going on with the passengers because, like I said, it can always get so much worse.
Yeah.
And if a huge that's one example I can give. I think I told Ranchi and them about this one. So this one captain I flew with, he used to fly for a corporate for Roush. I think it was Roush Racing. So they were flying the NASCAR team around, and they had the pit crew back there.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they had messed something up with their pit stop, and they were pissed at each other, and it broke out into a fight. So they were tearing the seats apart, beating each other with them, things like that.
Oh.
And what the guy finally did was him and his first officer, they put their oxygen mask on. Now, like I said, this is corporate, so this isn't how it'd be with us. But they depressurized the plane, so either the guys put their mask on or they passed out.
Wow.
Either way, yeah.
Wow, you got to do what you got to do. That's one way. That's like using bean bags instead of bullets. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get control of the situation because when you're up there, you never know when it might come up to the flight deck. So
right, and then all of a sudden, things are going out of control, and now everyone's in trouble.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow, that's pretty heavy. Have you ever landed at PNS in Pensacola?
Many times.
Yeah, that's great. That's good to hear.
Yeah, all about the Penis Airport.
Absolutely, yeah. Pensacola, that is our home base in the flight sim. We do a lot out of PNS, of course.
Are you associated with the Clit Airport as well?
So occasionally we will go to Charlotte. Yeah, right?
Oh no.
Wait.
The actual Clit, Little Rock, KLIT.
Oh no. No, I KLIT. No, wait, how have we not done this?
Yeah, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Making a note right now. KLIT, important. If anyone ever looks at my notes, they're gonna be like,
yeah, they got to give some reference to the Clit every once in a while. You got to take care of it.
Absolutely. So, as the captain, do you come in as the Clit commander sometimes, or what?
I mean, my wife would probably disagree that I don't know how to handle it, but yeah, I get shit done.
Yeah, and some people are putting it. They're not surprised I didn't know where the Clit was. All right, fuck that.
Hey, that old mythical son of a bitch.
Yeah, and then here you are landing right in it. Who knew it was that big? Who knew it was that big? That's crazy. So the flight simulators have the potential to be more realistic than they are, but there's just something about it that they just seem to screw up somehow. Very basic.
Yeah, I'd say for the most part, they do a pretty good job. They don't get the actual flying characteristics of the planes down really well. Main reason I can say that is like flying the 737, the 737 NG 800s.
Yeah,
it's a beast of a plane. We consider it the muscle car, whereas the Airbus is like the underpowered European car. But
well, the Airbuses are supposed to be more fuel efficient, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not really. They're pretty much the same. So when we're climbing out on the 738 800, and we're still in the high 20s, low 30s, it's a beast of a plane. The engines are so powerful. We're still climbing out at 2,000 feet a minute. Oh. Taking off from the ground, we might get 5,000-6,000 feet a minute. It just kind of depends on what power setting that we use for the whatever airport that we're at. But the max, it kind of dials it back some, where we might only climb out with higher altitudes at 90% power. So it doesn't climb as well, but the Airbus, it's a pretty big dog when it comes to climbing. That thing, it's underpowered, but people love it. They love how roomy the cabin or the cockpit is, and it has a food tray table as well. Like, I probably don't need that, but
I see.
we'll see.
That's
Like I said, I might be switching to it soon.
a very important part. Apparently, the food tray.
Dang right, got to focus on that.
Sure. And I mean, I don't know. They look kind of nice inside. Do you use is the autopilot like basic procedure? Like it's always kind of used. It makes sense.
Every pilot's different. Airbus guys, they pretty much turn the autopilot on almost immediately after takeoff.
Right.
The 7.3 guys, we like to hand fly. That's the big difference in those planes. The 7.3 is so fun hand flying it. Your hands on, you can actually feel what the plane's doing. Versus the Airbus, one of my good buds, he's in training on it right now.
Mm.
He says you just can't feel anything. You're putting the commands in, and it's just doing it. Versus we're coming into land. If I can feel if they're about to hit an air pocket or something coming into approach, I could go ahead and make the corrections for it. But yeah, there's
okay.
time. Like I said, every pilot's different. Some guys turn the autopilot on pretty quick. There might be times where I'll hand fly it all the way up to cruising altitude and then turn it on.
Right.
It varies. Now
Okay.
there are flights where we don't have an autopilot. It's MEL'd, so we can't use it. Those are long flights, very tiring.
I bet. Yeah, you have to be on top of everything. So what about landing for lining up with the runway? Is that done if you're doing it no autopilot, you're doing this all visual, right? You're just, getting instructed on what altitude you have to be at coming up and just going there?
Yeah, so you'll have different types of approaches that we do, whether we're in the clouds or a visual approach. We don't have to have the autopilot on for any of it, but it's just kind of some guys like to have it on because either one, they think it's more comfortable for the passengers, or yeah, maybe they don't trust their abilities as much.
Okay.
But I like hand flying. I'll turn it off pretty quick coming into land. Like
All
last
right.
night, where the hell am I? Sorry, man. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. Kansas City. All right, coming into Kansas City last night.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice visual night. It was about midnight or something, and real smooth. So while we're coming in on the downwind, I just went ahead and turned the autopilot off, and they cut us in real tight, and so I had a blast with it.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. That's nice. It's nice to know that you are able to like interact with the plane in a way where you can feel things through the controls and know when, or hopefully be able to tell obviously when there's an air pocket or something that you need to react to, and you're confident enough, that your flying capabilities are probably the most comfortable way. That's great. I would love to have you fly, me be on a plane. I'd feel really good, you know, and even including all the jokes, but,
No, I don't take any of it seriously. I have there was a passenger that recorded one of my flights when I was at my regional. He put it up on YouTube, so you can hear even back then, like my passenger announcements. I'm never serious about them because I feel like if I have a good time, people are going to feel more at ease in the back.
yep.
That's not always the case, though.
Oh, sure.
I have had
Oh boy.
I know I've definitely told her onto this one, but I had a couple that they refused to fly with me because of how I sound.
Wow.
Yeah, we were doing Charlotte to Myrtle Beach, and I did my welcome aboard announcement, and the flight attendant comes up and says, "Hey, we got a couple passengers that are wanting to talk to you." And I'm like, "No, that's weird." So it can't be good. So I told him, "All right, just tell them to wait at the jet bridge. I'll be there in a few minutes." So I
Yep.
keep texting my wife, and I eventually go out there because I say I'm texting my wife. Let me get that part straight. Everything with the plane's already done and taken care of, so we have a lot of downtime while passengers are boarding.
Sure. Of course.
So just so y'all don't think we're just screwing around all the
No,
time.
no, no.
But so I go out there and I talk to them, and it was like I said, husband and wife, and the husband was talking to me, but it was the wife's words. She was just talking through him,
Of
and they
course.
said, "We do not trust your intellectual capabilities to get us to Myrtle Beach safely.
Oh my God.
And I said, well, all right, I may not completely agree with that. I take my job very seriously. But if I would never want to make you feel unsafe, so you're more than welcome to get off of this plane, and the gate agents will put you on the next flight to Myrtle Beach. It might just be a few hours, and you'll be good to go. And the wife sounded very happy about this, so they got their bags, walked off the plane.
Sure.
But little did they know, I was flying from Charlotte to Myrtle Beach, back to Charlotte, back to Myrtle Beach. I was the next flight to Myrtle Beach.
God. Oh.
So, and that was going to be the last one of the night as well.
Oh.
So
you just made him wait.
Sure, oh yeah. So I made sure to stand right there in the galley where they could see me coming down the jet bridge. The husband saw me first, and I was just standing there waving like a jackass, eating briars. And he bent over at the waist, hee-haw, laughing, and the wife couldn't figure out what he was laughing at. So she finally looked up and saw me, and her face went blood red. But by God, she didn't say a damn word that flight.
At that point, I would have been like, look, I just went there and back. We all made it. We're just going to do it again. And then really, I just want to go to bed tonight. go sit down.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Yeah, but when I have people that's one thing, like I said, did plumbing work for my dad a long time. Taught me one thing. Don't take shit from nobody. You ain't better than anybody else, but ain't nobody better than you either.
That's 100% correct. Those are totally true words, and I'll be honest with you, I've always lived by that statement. I know that the guy right next to me is the guy right next to me. You know what I mean?
That's right. I tell people I treat everybody the same. Try to give you all the respect I can until you give me a reason not to.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, you sound like a stand-up guy. I mean, like, why wouldn't these people trust you? Why would they want to get off the plane? You know, you just being funny? Is that it? And they just were like, he's not taking this seriously.
Oh, no, it's seriously the redneck accent.
Oh my God. See, I didn't even think that. Okay. Wow. Some people. Wow.
Yeah, I got a kick out of it, but
now I see why you made him wait.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all. I'm like, hey, if you all want to have some quality time in the good old Charlotte airport, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, I'll be back.
Wow, that's great. I'm trying to think. Do a lot of people poke into your cockpit and tell you that they fly in flight simulators?
Flight simulators? No, not really. The ones that we get the most is people that will come up and want to tell you they're a private pilot. And
oh, okay.
Had a good one of those as well. I mean, I understand you got your pilot rating and everything, but I guess, all right, so let's put it this way.
Yeah.
I drive a Ford Mustang. I like to think I know quite a bit about it, whereas I know a lot about driving it, working on it, and stuff like that. That'd be like me going up to a Lamborghini guy and telling him what he needs to be doing. Not a damn clue. But
right, of
we
course.
Had this guy. We did the land. So it was a CRJ 7 or 900 in Charlotte Airport. So runways, I think the runway we're using is 9,000 feet long. That plane can stop, and I didn't even get on the brakes on it. I just used aerodynamic braking. Which is I just held the nose off a little bit, kind of like a soft field landing.
Okay.
And let the plane crack the thrust reversers, left them at idle, and just let it kind of coast to where I could get off. But this guy got off the plane and he was like, "Hey, I want to let you all know you're leaking brake fluid." And I said, "What in the hell is he talking about?"
Brake fluid.
Yeah. And I said, "What was that, sir?" He's like, "Yeah, when you got on the landing, when you hit the brakes, I could feel the hydraulic brake fluid leaking out." And I'm like, "Oh. When I did the landing and got on the brakes, huh?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Sir, I never touched the brakes on the landing."
Wow.
And he just walked off. But his wife was like, "Oh, he's a private pilot." I'm like, "Oh, no, I could tell. You're fine."
I could tell. Damn. Wow, that's pretty wild. This guy's, you're leaking brake fluid. I could feel it. What do you mean you could feel it? Like, come on.
That's it was interesting. Now, you bring up the ones saying they play Microsoft Flight Sim. So when I was a flight instructor, I did have a guy come in. He was probably 55 or something. And he's like, "Hey, I've been playing a lot of Microsoft Flight Sim. I'd like to see if I could fly the actual plane." I'm like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be fun."
Right.
So we talk about that's all he wanted to do. He just wanted to see if he could take off and land. So I'm
Okay.
like, all right, so this is going to be like a discovery flight, but we're just staying in the pattern. So we go up. I do about 8 to 10 takeoff and landings with him just feeling along. And then I'm like, all right, buddy. So the next one is going to be more you at the controls, but I'm still going to be there. So he's good with that.
Okay.
And we start the takeoff roll, and he goes to pull off the ground, and he said, as we're about 50 feet off the ground, he's like, hey, I need to adjust my seat real quick.
Oh shit.
So on the Cessna 172 that we had, it's just like a car. It's got a latch down there. You release it, and it's on a slide. So he used the control yoke to brace himself to where he could pull his seat up, and he lifted that lever, slid all the way back with the yoke in his hand, and we pitched straight up to where I want to say I saw about 60 degrees nose up, and he froze. And I could not get him to release the controls.
Oh my God.
So I finally started beating the hell out of his chest, trying to get him to let go. And that was probably the closest I've ever come to dying in a plane.
Wow, that is holy shit.
Yeah, that guy, he threatened me with a lawsuit for damage to his ribs, and
yeah, it would have been way worse had you not.
yeah, I said, you go ahead and try that lawsuit, buddy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, even in a car, you don't do that.
Yeah, it was he was interesting.
Yeah. Oh no, like you definitely got to do what you got to do. That's it. That's another scenario. I mean, that's great. That is great. Is there a reason it's called a cockpit? Is there something specific, or is that not even used anymore?
Yeah, because you got two cocky bastards sitting up there. Isn't that obvious?
I guess so. I mean, oh, all right.
No, honestly, I have no clue.
Yeah. Wow. You ever get into a fight with any air traffic controllers?
Controllers, no, not really. Closest thing I've had to that, I was a check airman at my regional airline, so I took guys that were fresh out of the simulator, and I would train them like what it's actually like line flying and get them signed off. Because I mean, it's not like private pilot flying. You can't just take them up and go in a plane, teach them everything. It's expensive. You're burning jet fuel.
Right.
So it's a small chance, but there's a chance that you might have a student pilot. All right, not a student pilot, but a guy in training up there. He's fully qualified, but there's a check airman up there. He's just getting him signed off and teaching him stuff. So this guy, it was his first airline. We're going to Charlotte. They're turning the airport around in Charlotte. And so they're going from landing north to landing south, or the other way around. So what they have to do when they do this, they have to put planes in holding because they can't take anybody in because they got to have so much spacing from the guys that are finishing to the guys that are then going to be coming back in on the other way. So they put planes into holding to give them a little bit of space. And the airline that I was at, unless there was weather and had an alternate, they were in big time fuel saving mode. So we didn't have the fuel to hold. So I start scrambling. They tell us we're going into holding, and this guy, I don't want to say he freezes up, but he's just kind of lost. He doesn't know what he needs to be doing. So it becomes single pilot pretty much from that point on, where I'm working the plane, doing the planning, trying to figure out what's our bingo fuel, looking at the approaches, what other airports could we go to, things like that. Well, while all this is going on, ATC tells me, call sign 5300, expect clear direct to, I don't know, clear direct to so-and-so fix for the so-and-so arrival for the ILS to 36 left. Now, I hear that, but I missed the one word, which was expect. They never give clearances like that when it's an expect. It's like, expect your route clearance here in a second, something like that. And so I exit the holding pattern, and he asked me where I'm going. And I was like, you cleared me this? He said, no. I said, expect all that. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. That's me. Can I get a phone number? I'd like to talk to you about it. And I know you probably heard anytime you get a phone number from ATC, it's a bad day. Well, I asked for the phone number this time because I wanted to talk
You
to him.
want to get it out in
Um,
front. Yeah.
yeah, and I told him, I'm like, guys, I was so extremely busy. I would avoid using expect with full route clearances because I missed that one word, but I heard everything else, and
Right.
now they no longer do that.
That's wow.
Now I did get into it with another pilot in the air.
Oh no.
Oh, actually, there's a couple stories on that, but yeah, we'll start with the first one.
Wow. Yeah.
This was flight instructing as well. So we were going into our local airport, uncontrolled airport, so no tower or anything.
Okay.
And my student, we're doing pattern work, and here comes a Cessna. I think it was a 206. He comes in and cuts right in front of us, where I had to take controls from the student to avoid hitting the guy, and
Oh.
he lands in front of us. And turns out it was the local news traffic reporter that thinks he's top shit, and he pretty much just thinks he owns the airport. So went
Wow.
down there and yeah, kind of whipped the guy around a little bit. But
Damn.
yeah, the worst one was
You don't mess with a plumber pilot. Fuck.
worst one was we were God dang, I had a student again. This was at the airlines. We're coming into Charlotte. We're straight in for 1-8 center, and there's a 737 that's on. He's on right downwind for 1-8 right. So they turn him base while we're still straight in, and we get a traffic alert, yellow TA, and it's like traffic, and that's just kind of, hey, let you know this guy's here. If you
Right.
don't do something within 60 seconds, you're going to hit. So not
Oh.
dire yet, but it's there.
Yeah.
So then approach gives him a heading to intercept the localizer. And they give him that. The TA goes away, and we come back in, continue on in, and then it comes back. And I tell my student, I'm like, all right, I feel weird about this. My controls, I want you to watch in this guy, see what he's doing. And about that time, it turns into an RA, which is if I don't remember the exact time, but if you don't do something within 15 seconds, you're going to hit.
Oh shit.
So it gives me 1,000 foot per minute descent, and I do that. But then it turns into 1,000 foot per minute climb, 2,000 foot per minute climb, and then 4,000 foot per minute climb. And I look over, and my FO is shaking. And apparently, this guy went right under us. After everything cleared, I was like, "How close was that?" He said, "I saw the captain's face."
Oh my
And
god.
so I'm seeing blood at this point.
Yeah.
And approach is all this time. Approach is yelling at this guy to turn right. He missed the intercept and everything. And they asked me if I could continue. And that's the one time I've cursed on the radios where I just completely lost it. They said, "Can you continue the approach?" I'm like, "That stupid mother effer learned to keep it on."
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So we get on the ground, and I had to call my wife right away to get her to calm me down because I was ready to go to this guy's gate and
Yeah.
have some fun.
I mean, that's basically almost an assault, right? I mean, that's
Oh,
like someone pointing a gun at
you
you.
all would have been dead.
This is like someone, yeah, this is like someone pointing a gun at you almost, doing something dumb like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just he messed up, but I mean it pissed me off because I'm like, that's pretty bad, man.
Yeah, you know, I have to admit that when you said fights with other pilots, I for some reason in my head I thought you meant in your own cockpit. Now I understand it's with other pilots because I would never imagine another pilot in its right mind doing some of these things.
Yeah, there's times where you have quarrels with guys on your actual plane, but nothing bad.
Is there's got to be a sign somewhere that says "Do not touch the seat while you're taking off," right? Like this, is that like something that's taught? Like, you know, this could be a disaster if you're alone.
Yeah, minor details.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
No, there was one where the plane had to divert because the flight attendants were beating the hell out of each other.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it turned out the first officer was dating this flight attendant and sleeping with the other one, and they just happened to be on the same trip, and they both figured it out.
Mile High Club.
Yeah, they were beating the hell out of each other back there, and the captain said, they diverted, got the plane on the ground. The captain's like, "You going out there?" And he said, "Hell no."
Wow. So in a situation like that, is there like a rule on how much duct tape you're supposed to have on board the plane?
No, and honestly, it's not even really for passengers. It's just it happens to be there for like securing bins, overhead bins, things like that that
Sure.
may not stay closed. But hey, you use what you got to use.
Right. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it was a Jerry Springer on a plane. That's crazy. I'm
Hey, they
sure.
pay for a show, they'll get one.
Oh my God. I'm sure you've seen some crazy things, and I'm sure I can't even imagine the things that you're gonna see, you know. This is
Yeah,
you're in a tube 30, 40,000 feet up in the sky with strangers. I'm surprised it
yeah,
doesn't get interesting more often, honestly.
yeah. For the most part, people are pretty relaxed about it. Nothing really ever happens. It's very rare
Yeah.
when things do happen.
You just kind of want to get it over with, you know. It's some of it's just not really comfortable, you know.
Yeah, it'll it's getting to the point where passengers are starting to keep other passengers in line, especially after 9/11.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I'm
they're not going
sure.
to put up with it anymore.
Yeah.
So something there have been cases where something were about to happen and passengers put a stop to it.
So I didn't know exactly how to ask this question, but it was a good question. Like, have things made a drastic change since 9/11? And I was like, how do I ask this without it being like, well, directly related to security? But that makes more sense that passengers have become more vigilant since things like that. Absolutely, right? That makes sense, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. There. So 9/11 happened. There's all sorts of documentaries and everything out there about it. Nobody really knew what was going on. I can talk about the security procedures before that point because that's not what the procedure is anymore.
Right.
So before it was pretty much if you have a hijacking deal, you just do whatever the hijackers say.
Right. Yeah.
Now, nothing like that at all.
Of
So
course.
that was the one big problem with how the security was back then was they just thought the hijackers were going to take the plane, get it on the ground or something, and try to get some money or something.
Right. Of
Little did they
course.
know
Right.
what
That one day people would use them as weapons, right? Like that's just
yeah.
totally different.
So
Yeah, and we're in a different world now because of it, you know. But
yeah,
hey,
but people aren't going to let that stand anymore.
nope.
Um,
Nope. No, I
yeah.
mean
So if you
because like the fact is the bad guys don't have a rule book that they're following. They're not following any rules, you
no,
know.
that's the thing. There's
Yeah.
that saying out there where there's one, there's two, where there's two, there's four, where there's four, there's more.
Right. Exactly, you know, and yeah, you know.
So
Wow.
we take it very seriously, security, and there's things that you can do to better prepare yourself for it. I won't get into that on here, but yeah.
Sure, of course. Absolutely. I mean, is there anything else you want to say to anyone that there's quite a few people listening and I know a lot of people are gonna want listen to this recording. Any
Uh,
message you
I,
want to get across, you know? I don't know.
I mean, hey, air travel is a wonderful thing. The job itself, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I absolutely love what I do, but respect it. You got to have the respect for it. Um, realize what you're doing. You're in a metal tube flying across the world.
Yeah.
A lot of people are forgetting that. They think it's just hopping in a car. So when things don't go your way, understand that hey, we want to get to where we're going to.
Right. Of
But
course.
we're just as upset, probably more so.
Right?
but
What is your biggest fear when you're flying? You know, like is
um,
there even one?
biggest
I gotta
fear
feel like pilots don't have a lot of fears.
probably food poisoning.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. That food poisoning would be terrible. Have you ever had that happen? Like where you and your co-pilot are getting ill?
Not at the same time, but no, there's been several times where I've gotten food poisoning on flights. It's not fun.
No, I bet. That's terrible. Wow.
But no, actual fears, no, not really. Uh, we're cocky bastards. Um, like we pretty much feel like we can do anything. They have that macho man syndrome that we're supposed to go against, and we can't help it. But you could tell me I'm flying into a hurricane. I don't give a damn. That's like as long as the winds aren't gusty or too out of the control. Yeah, we'll
That's not
we'll
a
get it
problem
there.
for you.
Yeah,
What's the
like
longest flight you've flown then? Like you're gonna have to encounter a lot of weather.
longest flight probably Hartford, Connecticut to LAX.
Oh, okay. So
It was
straight
like
across
six
the
and a half,
country.
7 hours.
No, that's not bad then. All in the day's work then, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not on the wide body stuff, so I haven't done the long haul stuff. But
Gotcha.
yeah, transcons is about as far as I want to go. I don't know if I have a much desire to do wide body.
So food poisoning is more of a fear than losing an engine.
Oh no, losing an engine, it's honestly no big
Right.
deal.
That's what
There's so
everyone
many
says. Yeah.
redundants. Yeah, there's so many redundant systems in the plane where losing one, yeah, it sucks. Losing two, really almost never going to happen.
Right. And when it did happen, we saw what happened. He landed in the Hudson, and everybody was fine.
Yeah, and he was real low to the ground too, so
Right.
it could have been way worse. Like when we're up at altitude or something, the 737, its glide ratio is so phenomenal. Like if we're cruising at 36,000 feet, we bang both engines, it's going to be a non-event.
Got it. Yeah.
It'll come down so slowly that you have plenty of time to get everything set up.
And pick a place, and that makes sense. You ever seen that movie Denzel where they flight where the plane goes upside down and he's trying to control it?
Yeah, they made that movie about me.
Never mind. I don't need to ask the next question then. All right.
No, I never watched it.
No, he's completely drunk and coked out, and then there is a problem on the plane, and it winds up flipping over, and he somehow flips it back over at the last second and lands it safely.
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah.
That's the bad part. My wife doesn't like watching those types of movies with me because I point out everything that's wrong.
Well, plus it's a movie about an issue on a plane. Who would want to? Why would your wife want to see that anyway?
Oh no, she loves watching aircraft disasters.
Oh
I'm
shit!
Like, this is kind of morbid here. Are you like hoping I'll be on one of these episodes?
You must have good life insurance. All right. You must have good life insurance. Oh my god. Well, I'm gonna let you go for now. I think maybe we could have another conversation in a month or so. If you don't mind. I mean.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. I don't give a damn. Apparently, my wife is listening to this because she just called me. She just said, "You ass."
Whoops.
I don't give a damn.
Sorry,
she
knows.
Dan. Yeah, I'll tell her how it is, and then she throws it right back at me because she's way more intelligent than me. But it happens.
Well,
but no, man, yeah, I'll come on whenever. If anyone has any questions about wanting to become a pilot or what you need to do,
well,
I'll welcome those questions too.
There were two questions about that. One was approximately how much did it cost in money for education for you to get where you are, and how long did it take for you to get where you are?
Alrighty. The flight school that I went to was in Sanford, Orlando, SFB on the airport was, and it was called Delta Connection Academy. It was called AeroSim, and now it's called something like L3, or I'm not sure what it's called exactly, but it's at the Sanford airport.
Okay.
It cost. I had to take out a loan for it. It was $100,000. That took me from absolutely no flying experience whatsoever to did my private pilot's license, my instrument rating, commercial multi, commercial single engine, and certified flight instructor. Then I came back to Tennessee. I got my certified flight instrument instructor. Did a bunch of favors for people. Got that done for free. But it was $100,000. It took a little over a year.
Wow, $100,000 for a little over 1 year. Well, that's like a doctor.
Yeah, it's expensive. There's cheaper ways of going about it. I didn't know about them. If you go to your local airports, there's flight schools all across the country, at all the small airports, things like that.
Right.
Go in there, talk to them, ask about a discovery flight or an intro flight. It ranges from like $100 to $150. They'll take you up and you'll go fly around for an hour or two where they actually let you fly the plane. Now, they're not going to let you take off or land, most likely, but they'll let you get it once you're up in the air, let you do what you want just to see if it's something that you'd be interested in. So
All right.
that gives you an idea. It's way cheaper to get that done at a smaller airport. And then there's other things you could do. Like there's universities that have flight schools. Middle Tennessee State University. I think Ohio has one. Oh dang, there's one up at in the Northeast at Liberty Airport
And
or something.
that's like a full 4-year college experience in one of those yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you get a 4-year degree with that, so that's going to be closer to $200,000.
Sure.
Kind of like oh, dadgummit, what's that one down in Daytona?
Oh, I have no idea. Wow. I know there's someone over here that lives there, but no.
Yeah, it's a university. Embry
FIT.
Riddle, that's what it is.
FIT. Oh,
Yeah, Embry Riddle. It's a 4-year university to where you can become a pilot, get a 4-year degree, but you're going to pay for it. And honestly, the way the airline industry is right now, you don't need a 4-year degree. I don't have one. I've got a 2-year degree from Harvard on the highway, uh, so it's not really needed.
wow. So they're just
Delta
hiring everybody,
Airlines,
huh?
yeah, Delta still kind of requires it. They say they don't, but that's
Huh.
who they pretty much pick first. Um, but it's not needed.
Got it. Yeah.
So there's
Wow.
ways you can look at regional airlines. They have things called cadet programs where they'll give you money back for flight training if you sign on to work that you'll work with them once
Right.
you get all your training done. There's a lot of programs out there to help get you in it now because flying is expensive now. Not that many people are getting into it, so they're going to be hurting for pilots.
Wow. So that might be something to get into. Is there an age limit on when you should start going to school here? Like, I'm probably too old. I'm 42.
Nah, man, I had a brand new guy that I trained at my regional airline. He was 54 or something.
No shit.
Um, yeah, it's a matter of do you have the money or the means to make it to where you can do the training
Yeah.
or get a loan for the training, pay it off, and and still live comfortably. Now it's different now. When I first started, my first year pay at my regional airline was $16,000.
Mm.
So I qualified for food stamps working at a regional airline.
Whoa. Damn. That's wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was really low. It's not like that anymore.
I bet.
Um,
Oh my god.
yeah, now they're like I said, they're hurting for pilots. There's all sorts of bonuses and stuff to get them on with.
Sure.
I want to say the regionals were offering $30,000 bonuses or something to come work with them.
Wow.
But yeah, there's all and first year pay is probably upwards of 50,000 now. So it's a big difference. It's just a matter if it's what you want to do. I mean,
Yeah.
if it makes you happy, man, do it because you don't want to go through this life miserable. Life
No.
is short, so why be pissed off all the time doing something you don't enjoy?
No, that makes sense. Like I said, that's great. Yeah, someone over here said they went to Delta State University, great small school, did their 4-year there and all ratings. Yeah.
I don't know where Delta State University is, but yeah, man, yeah, get it done. So that guy, if he's got all his ratings done, he might just be building time right now. Get those applications out there. Once you get on with the regional carrier, get a little bit of time, start throwing them into the majors.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, just get the time in. And even if you think you don't have enough time for majors or mainline, throw them out there. You never know what'll happen.
Right? Yeah, don't sell yourself short. Don't sell
Yeah,
yourself short at all.
you can't get, they can't say yes to a question that was never asked.
Right. Exactly. They can't say yes. I like that. Instead of, they can't say no. You go in thinking yes. Always yes. Well, I appreciate your time, sir. Everyone loves you, and he said he flies Airbus for a major now. So yeah, he's there.
You just tell him nobody's perfect. He'll come over to Boeing one day.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll be switching. Like I said, I'm probably going to be switching to Airbus here soon, just to make my commute easier as well. But yeah, man, appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah.
I'll come on anytime, man. Like I said, I can talk about flying all the damn time. Doesn't matter to me. I can shoot the shit with anybody.
Absolutely. Well, we'll try to set this up again. Someone says, Mr. Pilot, thank you for your cervix.
Hey, it's a hard working one.
Oh my God. You have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Hey, I'll try my hardest, bud. Keep
All
it
right.
between the ditches.
Oh, absolutely. Bye bye. Wow.